Hey guys, Useless here, and today I'm going to be reacting to a Geeks and Gamers video. Um, I don't know. I just saw this video. Basically, it sounds like he's just going to be malding about politics and games, which is probably just going to like amount to like women and and minorities being in movies. So, see what he has to say.
But now we're in this, the Trump era, basically, where everything that comes out of Hollywood and everything that these critics touch has to be some type of propaganda. And if it doesn't push forward their individual message on politics or social issues, then they're going to...
Man, I need to get around to watching this She-Ra show, because from what, like, I don't get why these anti-SJW people, like, I don't get why they hate it so much. Like, isn't it just like a children's show? Cause I know like the Quartering is mad because the She-Ra character isn't like hot enough, or like she's not hot like she was back in the day, but which is a little strange because I feel is she not like a child in this? In this iteration, because I think like the Quartering was mad because her boobies were not big enough. I don't know. I can't speak to She-Ra, but I feel like I feel like watching it at this point just to see what it's about, because they get so mad about it, and I honestly don't understand why.
to hold the film accountable. It seems like the critics specifically judge movies based on the identity politics and the agenda in it, or the lack of agenda, because if it has a lack of agenda in it...
I didn't see the Birds of Prey movie. Didn't look very good. So I can't speak to the agenda, but let me see. Is he going to say the agenda? Because I suspect it's just the fact that women are in the movie. I suspect that's just the agenda.
Then they will also hold it accountable for that and take credit away from it. It's just really weird how they do these things. Ultimately, the majority of critics don't seem to judge movies based on writing or story or character.
I don't think that's not true. I don't think. I'm pretty sure that's still the main thing that movie critics look for. I don't know. Has there been some kind of study on this? Honestly, it seems to me that the only people who are like super obsessed with this stuff are like anti-SJWs. I mean, that's honestly what it seems to me, at least.
Character development, they're more worried about the agenda being pushed into it. This is why The Last Jedi has a 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Or maybe they just liked it. Maybe they just liked the movie. Maybe they just have a different opinion than yours. Is that maybe not also a possibility? Oh, wait. No, he made this video before Birds of Prey came out. He made this video before Birds of Prey came out. So he hadn't seen Birds of Prey. He has no idea if there's an agenda in the movie at this point. So he's just assuming that they're giving it this rating because of some kind of agenda in it. So literally all he really knows about the movie at this point is that it has an all-female cast. Or lead cast. I don't know, whatever. It's not an all-female cast. But like it has like all-female leads. That's literally all he knows about it. So that has to be the agenda that he's like saying the movie has. This is pathetic.
It's really just a strange dynamic going on. As much as I like to brag about how much I'm right, I'm not always right. I have made mistakes, and I've owned those mistakes when I've made them. I've done that plenty of times, because guess what? I'm a human being, and human beings make mistakes. But generally, I am right about a lot of the things I talk about on this channel. And one thing I have...
I haven't seen that many videos of yours, but almost everyone is just you spouting nonsense.
Made a point about over the last few years is how Hollywood and the mainstream and the critics, the shill critics out there, have completely shifted away from judging a movie on if it's good or is it bad based on the movie itself, based on the writing, based on the characters, based on the plot. They have moved away from that, and they have...
That's literally all you do. Like, you haven't seen this movie. You hadn't seen this movie at this point. And you're already going into it with a hate boner for it. And you're like, you're just because like other people like it, you're just assuming that they like it because of some supposed agenda that exists. Okay. Whatever.
On the writing, based on the characters, based on the plot. They have moved away from that, and they have moved into a situation where they have literally made race and gender a plot point. And they will judge a movie based on the race and the gender. That is ridiculous. And people said, that's ridiculous, Jeremy.
I hope he gives me an example of this at some point.
There are many videos on this channel over the course of the last few years where I have talked about race and gender and identity politics being a plot point to critics. I used to follow Rotten Tomatoes. I used to pay attention to Metacritic. I used to really think that there was some good information in there. But in the last few years, especially since 2016 and the Orange Man Bad got elected, that has...
What does Donald Trump have to do with like movies being good? What does that have to do with anything? And like, what is this like? Does he not know that like Rotten Tomatoes doesn't like, they don't write reviews? They're just an aggregate. So like, you just go in and maybe you feel that certain critics are, I don't know, are like inserting their agendas, their supposed agendas into their reviews. Just keep track of those specific critics and go to the critics that you feel are totally unbiased. It's not like Rotten Tomatoes wouldn't even be the problem, unless you're saying that literally every critic on Rotten Tomatoes is like has some weird bias. Okay, I don't know what to tell you there.
Has changed a lot. The shill media has changed a lot. And we are at a time now where Rotten Tomatoes has been completely compromised, Metacritic has been completely compromised, and so many other people that used to be respectable have been lost to TDS.
Rotten Tomatoes, I'm pretty sure Metacritic is the same thing, right? But like they don't write reviews. How are they compromised? I don't...
Justice nonsense. Now we move into this where the Oscars have introduced the inclusion
this thing.
And
dude, oh my gosh. Oh, so he's just gonna be malding about this. Okay. This is virtue. This is pointless virtue signaling by the Oscars. I'll admit that. You know, it's like it is. But like literally it is so hard to not meet the to not be eligible to meet this, because okay, read this carefully. To be eligible for Best Picture consideration for the 96 Oscars to 2024, a film must meet 2 out of the 4 standards: on-screen representation, themes and narratives, creative leadership and project team, industry access and opportunities. And I don't see the what D is. Let me see. Can I look this up actually? Let's see. Oscars representation standards. Can we see the thing? Okay, standard A, standard B, C, D. Audience development. Studio film has multiple in-house senior executives from among the following underrepresented groups. Must include individuals from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups on their marketing, publicity, and or distribution teams. Okay. So standard A is the only thing that that actually has to do with like people that are in the movie. Like standard A is the only thing that it's the only thing that like has to do with like the movie itself, right? And standard A, okay, so a film must meet two or four of the following standards. And then when you go to standard A, to achieve standard A, the film must meet one of the following criteria. Lead a so you have to have a lead or significant supporting actors that is one of these minority groups. You have to have or at least 30% of all actors in secondary and more minor roles are from at least two of the following underrepresented groups. Some of these main storyline, subject matter. Okay, so to meet standard A, you only have to meet one of these. I feel like the vast majority of movies meet this, but again, I don't know. Maybe you're making a movie about like Vikings or whatever, and they're all white. I don't know. Are Vikings all white? I don't even know. I'm not some kind of historian, but that's standard A, and this is the only thing that has to do with really like the actual movie. Then you go to standard B, and then that has to do with like directors, cinematographers, composers, and yeah. So like you basically you just have to be. You have to like at some point in all of the people that are working on your production, you need two people who are at least a woman, who are at least in a racial or ethnic group, who are at least in an LGBTQ plus group, or have some kind of physical disability. And then at least one of these people, they need to be in from one of these. And I think they have I think the Bs. Yeah, I think the Bs. You need to achieve like one of these Bs. And then you can either have at least 6 other crew/team technical positions, including production assistants, or from that. See, so you even like people just working on your crew, at least 6 of them should probably have to be in an underrepresented group. But it's like you like the vast majority of movies should at least have a woman, right, working in two of these categories right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I'm using it a lot to point out what I'm reading. But it's like, but yeah, so like the vast I would say that probably all movies being made today in Hollywood probably should be able to pass standard B with flying colors. Paid apprenticeship and internship opportunities. A film's distribution or financing company has paid apprenticeships or internships that are from the following underrepresented groups and satisfy the criteria below. So, whatever company is distributing or financing the movie needs to have a woman in it. Or it needs to have a female apprentice or intern at some point in that company. Needs to be of a racial or ethnic group. Needs to maybe a gay person. I don't know. Or they need to have training opportunities. The film's production, distribution, or financing company offers training and or work opportunities for below the line skill development for people. So like right there, I would wager to guess that literally any movie that is good enough to win an Oscar probably meets standard B and C. Like I would be shocked if a movie comes out that is eligible to win an Oscar that doesn't meet either standard B or C. And then D, audience development, that's just another one. Representation and marketing, publicity, and distribution. If you're telling me the studio at some point in their chain of people who work for them don't have like an Asian don't have like Asian, Hispanic, black, minorities working for them. You know what? You don't got a gay guy working for you. I mean, I like this is so easy to meet. It's like it's hilarious. And again, uh, yeah, it is absolutely pointless virtue signaling. Sure, but it's not. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like it really doesn't.
Representation standards for the Oscars. To be eligible for Best Picture consideration for the 96th Oscars, a film must meet 2 out of 4 standards. A, on-screen representation, themes and narratives. B, creative leadership and project team. Industry access and opportunities. Audience development. This is real. Like, this is, I mean, I'm not, you would think this is a meme. You would think that this is a meme that someone put on Reddit or 4chan to make fun of the Oscars. But this is the reality of what we're dealing with here. Movies are now going to be judged on the identity politics surrounding them.
No. These are only standards to be eligible. To be eligible to win an Oscar. Guess what? Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. That movie was eligible to win an Oscar. Did it have any chance in a blue moon to win an Oscar or even be nominated? Absolutely not. But it was eligible. So movies are not being judged on whether or not they're not being judged on these things in terms of how good they are. These are just the requirements for them to be eligible to then be judged on their story and their, cinematography and whatever, all the different awards that they give out.
What have we been telling you? What have we been telling you for years? That Lucasfilm, that Marvel, that so many other of these studios and directors, they have gone full woke, and they are now making movies for social justice reasons, not to entertain, not to honor the mythology.
Okay, all of these different studios, they make movies for one reason. And that's money. They don't. I'm sure they like entertaining you. I'm sure they probably feel. I would say they definitely feel proud of their art. For the most part, I would say, but the main primary reason, the only reason that these movies are being made, or I guess like the thing that allows these movies to be made, and the main primary reason that they are made, is to make money. At the end of the day, it's just all about money. All right. So, just keep that in mind.
Not to tell a good story, to push an agenda. And they have literally admitted it right here and there. It's funny how the closer we get to the election, the more all of this nonsense starts to be exposed because they are losing their minds and they are pushing so hard now.
What does this have to do with Trump? What? I don't even. What? I don't know what the Oscars has to do with Trump. I don't.
Now, they don't even know how to be subtle about it anymore. We have seen the full destruction of the Disney Star Wars trilogy in the last few weeks by the cast members coming out and saying exactly what myself and so many other fans have been saying for years. And we weren't saying it when it was convenient or popular. We weren't saying it when the bandwagon was filling up. We were saying...
Wait, no. I don't know. I know John Boyega came out and said that they didn't have a plan for his character, but it didn't have anything to do with him being black. They just didn't have a plan for the character that they set up. That's not like a thing. That's not about him being black. they like yeah the like Disney they didn't have a plan in general with that entire Star Wars with the new sequel trilogy. But the problem with what they did isn't that they cast a black person or that they cast like an Asian person. That's not the problem with the sequel trilogy. It's just that they went into it without a plan whatsoever. They basically wung it every episode. They're like, hey, J.J. Abrams, make your movie. Okay, Ryan Johnson, here, go make your movie. We're not gonna give you any directions or tell you or tell you where we want our story to go at all. Just make your movie, whatever. Who cares? And then they got J.J. Abrams back. Be like, okay, so what Ryan Johnson did, don't follow any of the things that they set up in that movie. Just go make your own movie. Who cares? They just went in without a plan. That's the problem. They didn't have a plan for. They didn't have a plan for Finn. They didn't even really have a plan for Rey or any of the other characters. Because like Rey in The Force Awakens was set up to be a nobody. And like Daisy Ridley even said themselves or herself that like she like while she was filming she didn't even know like who her father was or who her lineage was. So it's like the problems with the sequel trilogy don't have nothing to do with like cast members being like not being white. That's irrelevant to why those characters were bad.
Saying it when everybody was calling us names and dismissing us as toxic man babies. And we have
I still dismiss you as a toxic man baby, but continue.
also been calling out this bullshit with the Oscars and Rotten Tomatoes and everything else. It has been compromised. I say this as someone that's been paying attention to Rotten Tomatoes for a long, long time. I have always paid attention to Rotten Tomatoes. I've always appreciated Rotten Tomatoes. I've always appreciated that it gave me a perspective outside of my own opinions so that I could see how movies were being...
Yeah, except now because you're getting a perspective that you don't agree with or that you don't like or that triggers you, that you're just throwing out that perspective just as a whole. Like even if you're saying that you're going to Rotten Tomatoes for a different perspective, then even if there are people on there that are just like looking for, or even if there are critics on there that are just looking for movies to fulfill their SJW, like I don't know, their SJW agenda or whatever, or their SJW standards, isn't that a different perspective that you just said you were looking for? Like, why does that perspective trigger you so much? I don't know.
perceived from other people. But in the last few years, Rotten Tomatoes has been absolutely positively compromised, as has the media, as has the critics, as has Hollywood. All of it has been compromised. It is all trash. It is all garbage. So now, moving forward, the Oscars are not going to be about good movies, which they really haven't been in a long time anyway. But it's not going to be about good movies. It's going to be about the political messaging within it.
No, it's not.
Do you know how ridiculous that is? That is ridiculous.
It's not.
It is so...
I know I already explained this, but just to be clear, these aren't these are just standards to be eligible. To be eligible for Best Picture consideration. Oh yeah, actually, I'm reading that right here. This appears to be for Best Picture. I don't even know if it's for the other awards. Yeah, this is just for Best Picture. It's not even for the other awards. I don't even know if there are like standards for the other awards. It's literally just for Best Picture. But again, this is just standards to be eligible. Eligible. And again, these are standards that are so easy to meet that I would be shocked. I would be shocked if there's a movie that comes out that is like incredibly amazing, and everybody wants it to be and that everybody thinks it should win Best Picture at the Oscars, and that it's not eligible. Like, you're telling me at like no point through when you go down the line of people who worked on that movie, if you're telling me that none of those people are a woman, that there are no women that worked on that movie at some point, that there are no like minorities that have worked on that movie at some point, that there aren't any like LGBTQ people working on that movie. You're telling me that at no point in the line of work, in that line, you can't find examples of those people? Like, I don't buy that's ever gonna happen, honestly.
So funny. It's so funny. They have become exactly what we predicted they would be. So many people said, you guys are just pushing this. You're making stuff up. This is not true. It's absolutely true. It was always true. This is...
I mean, right now, you're either lying or you're just really dumb and, like, you just didn't read. That you just didn't read. Like, honestly, I would be shocked if, like... Or I would not be surprised if he didn't, like, click on his source here. Or like, I don't know, is that the same page that I went to, actually? Not necessarily. Actually, it might be. Yeah, no. He in his tweet, he linked this page, I think. Did you read this? Did you read it? Did you read it? Because if you read it, then I don't understand how you could be making this video.
Hilarious. Again, the closer we get to the election, the more you see the mask falling off and you start to exceed the exposure of the nonsense that we have been telling you was going on. It's only going to get crazier as we get closer to November. But that is where we are. Unbelievable. You guys...
Again, I still don't understand what this has to do with the election. But okay.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How hilarious is this going to be? I mean, this is a joke. This is an absolute joke. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get to 2024 to watch this shit show unfold. This is so funny. It's all about identity politics. Entertainment, non-existent. Now it's all about identity politics. And that is so beautiful. Thank you for confirming that everything we have been saying is 100%.
Again, like literally, so like 2 of these have to do with like the creative process, and then like the other 2 have to do with like the business side of it. So like only 2 of these. So theoretically, you could have a pasty white. Your entire like creative team can just be pasty white as snow, white as snow. Could all be just white. But then you only need like a couple underrepresented groups working in your business side. If you're telling me you can't manage that, like if you don't have like any underrepresented people working at some point when it comes to your creative team, and then like the studio that's financing or distributing your movie, if you're telling me that at like no point you have like an underrepresented person or like a few underrepresented people working in that chain of command, then honestly that is a problem. And like that's really weird. that would actually be kind of a weird thing. So yeah, again, this is absolutely virtue signaling, and it is kind of annoying. And yeah, like if he had just come on and like and said that this was just an annoying virtue signaling thing, then I would have had nothing really to counter him with, because it is like, this isn't like any movie, like this doesn't really change anything. Like literally any movie can get that could potentially be nominated, that would be good enough to get nominated, is still going to get nominated. This isn't going to change anything really. So like this is just virtue signaling. And again, it is pretty cringy, but it's not like the end of cinema. It's not like it's not like the end of the Oscars judging movies based on the quality of their direction and of their writing and of their cinematography. It's none of those things. So yeah.
Spot on. Thank you very much for checking out this video. Solo Lost Money. Railers are weird. The Oscars are a joke, and we will talk to you later.
Because like you gotta like it's just so hilarious. Like, look, he has to be dishonest, right? Right? Like he had to have read this. Like he linked it in his tweet. Like surely he read this, and if he did, then he would know. He would know that this isn't that big of a deal. Like what are some of these comments? I miss the movies where it was about good characters, backstory, world building, character development, good storytelling. And also, I like that that like, I guess like wanting to put some black people in your movie like that rids it of being able to be a good story. I don't know. And just like that, the Academy Awards just canceled their own credibility. It's no longer about the best special effects acting. No. Instead, it's about identity, race, gender. So true art is dead. He didn't even read the graphic. It's for Best Picture consideration. Not even really about special effects or acting necessarily. Although I guess Best Picture is like a combination of all those things, I guess. So I'm sorry, Jason. Maybe your I mean your comment is still dumb, but you know, maybe that specific part of it might be valid. The new Oscar requirements are racist, plain and simple. It's unreal that people actually think this is okay. I don't know that it's racist, cause like, I mean maybe, is this racist against white people? I don't think so, because like it's not saying that like if white people are in your movie then it's not eligible to be considered for an Oscar. It's more like it's more inclusive than a racist, I would say. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Don't forget most of these people are likely to be pedos. Yo, hey, after Cuties, I don't know, maybe that is the case. that whole cutie situation, like if anything has exposed Hollywood, it's Cuties. Like all of these like critics in Hollywood and like actors coming out defending Cuties, like that is the like the one thing where I will link arms with the anti SJWs and go after Cuties. We can we can all come together for that. I don't know. I'm done reading the comments. Yeah, this is a dumb video. I didn't realize that that this was gonna be about this Oscar things when I just read the title. But yeah, I guess this is good that it was about that, because I never talked about this. Because you know there are only so many topics I can talk about, because I only make like one topical video a week. But yeah, so I guess it's kind of cool that I came across this video where he brought this up. Yeah, I guess just to wrap it up, yes, the whole Oscars representation standards thing, it's virtue signaling, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything about about what movies can get nominated. So it's not really anything to get triggered over. So yeah, that's it. Geeks and Gamers, he's either an idiot or he's lying. So bye.